Hello, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages. Welcome to Coffee, Tea, You and Me. For almost 20 years, I've been sitting down every Friday with entrepreneurs, business leaders, leaders in the community, finding out answers to some of the toughest questions that anybody can ever ask when it comes to how do you get things done? How do you move life forward? How do you generate all of the possibilities that you possibly can in the short lifetime that we all have? And I love doing it. This program has been a labor of love for me. I started doing it as a beginning to my group coaching program, and it's morphed into just an amazing thing. A lot of people say, oh, COVID-19 has slammed my business, and COVID-19 has made it so difficult for me to do the things I do. And then, I decided COVID-19 is not going to kill me. It's not going to crush me. It's not going to make things difficult for me. In fact, I'm going to use it. I'm going to learn all this new technology. I'm going to learn all these new platforms, and I'm going to get out there. I'm going to get the brand out there. I'm going to teach as many people as I possibly can and help as many people as I possibly can. Now, those of you who know me know I have a heart for SWAM businesses, small, women-owned, and minority businesses. That's what's all about for me. That's what makes my heart sing. As the chairman of the Fairfax County Small Business Commissioner and a former board member for so many different groups and organizations in and around the Northern Virginia area, it's been my passion to make sure that the economic empowerment that has to happen for women, for small businesses, and for minorities are strong. And anything we can do to help the disabled, the disenfranchised, the look down, the downtrodden, the depressed, whatever, bring us. I'm like the Statue of Liberty. Bring everybody to me, and we'll figure out how to get them involved with this great American experiment called liberty and democracy and freedom, right? But it comes with a need to make a contribution, which is what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the benefits that you can experience from whatever it is that you do, wherever background you're coming from, whatever you're trying to achieve in life. Your contribution and your benefits are all aligned. And when you align them correctly, what you have is a level of performance, a level of high performance that generates even more benefits than you can imagine. So we're going to talk about that today and how that's going to work. And I got a special guest for you today. Oh, my God. I had a couple other people that were going to come on the show, and I hope they're not embarrassed by this, but I thought I'm going to have them take a back seat, because the guest that I got for you today is a super special rock star. I mean, there are people that you get a chance to meet, people that you get a chance to play with in your life and in your business, and they just make an impression on you, and they're so powerful and they're so professional in what they do. That is Miss Ingrid Paris Hinkling. She is a long-term employee of Fairfax County. She ended her career as one of the directors of the Office of Partnerships, and that's where we found each other. It was an opportunity for public-private partnerships to begin to jump off around the Northern Virginia area and create opportunities for as many as we possibly can to help the government as well as help private citizens do more when it comes to their public contribution. And Ingrid was so blessed us so well with just her participation and her abilities and her talent. And I knew back then she was a rock star, but I started checking her out, and you guys won't believe this. She's got a show. She got her own show on Public Access Channel called Ingrid's World, and it is phenomenal. The guests she brings on are really a part of her lifetime experience in working with public-private partnerships, and she's able to now bring those people on and give them the platform that they need to have to get more exposure, to brand themselves, to create more opportunities within the community, and it's free. And so it's a great opportunity for those of us to participate and engage. And I always tell my friends, don't just view Ingrid's show. Participate, engage. This is public access. This gives you an opportunity to make a contribution. Don't just sit back and relax and check it out. I know for a fact I'm going to be a sponsor for the show coming up, and I know I'm going to talk my fraternity brothers into doing the same thing at some point in the future, so that we're going to at least kick off and do some work to make sure that this kind of opportunity and access is available for as many people as possible. Ingrid is a native New Yorker. And her and I share some roots in common. I'm not from New York, but I said I cut my professional teeth in New York. New York allowed me to be the person I am. So sometimes I might be a little fast talking. Y'all got to remind me to slow down. But I learned so much when I was there, and we were just talking earlier today that when the city is the kind of thing that it will make you what it needs to make you. It's like that's what it is, and I guess that's one of the reasons why they say if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere, because it's a city that will mold you into whatever you want it wants you to be, and it's a struggle. So I would have to say those who make it through there and make it out of there, hey, they are champions, and Ingrid is also a champion. What else can I tell you about Ingrid? Just she's a fabulous person. She's got a great show, public access. Oh, she's a lady about the community, big time. Big time. You always find, these rock stars who are out there and they serve in different areas and their sororities and fraternities and, different things like that. But Ingrid is in deep with the Rotary Club. She's one of the founding members of the Rotary Club in Tyson's Corner. Ingrid, she didn't know that I founded the Rotary Club in Centerville. And when I founded the Rotary Club in Centerville, this was maybe a decade ago, a little bit more than a decade ago. It was all women and me. That's it. And if anybody know anything about Rotary, it's pretty much a good old boys club, out of Chicago, and but all about community service and creating ways to help people do more with whatever it is they have. So I love that I got a fellow Rotarian on the call as well, and she's a member of Jack and Jill, the Lynx, probably the Urban League, the NAACP, and everything else you can think of, because she's just out there doing so many things, doing so much good work for so many people. And so without further ado, I'm going to bring on board a superstar, somebody that I know for a fact. I'm so proud that she decided to come on the show, and she asked me to be on her show too, which is cool. I get to be on Ingrid's world. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let me bring to the stage a rock star on her own right, Mrs. Ingrid Paris Hinkling.
What a joy it is to be here with you. Oh my goodness. And our viewers, thank you so much for tuning in and listening to this amazing rock star back at you, back at you, because you are the rock star. And I learned so much through you. You've always had that patience and, made everyone feel welcome. And I think that that's what we really need now. Go back. Let's welcome each other. Mm-hmm. Let's say, you're great. I respect you and appreciate you. And that's what I got from you. So when I contacted you, I sent you something on LinkedIn and I said, could you possibly do my show? And what did Marvin do in perfect Marvin fashion? He answered right away.
That's right. When the president calls, you don't mess around. You're like, oh, time out. This is the boss. I gotta get in there. I can't miss my shot. I was like we gonna do this. This is not coming out till April. Oh, I gotta wait. Fine. Because I'm used to like instant gratification. But that's okay. We're gonna do it the way you needed to get it done and make sure that everything works well for your team, your audience. I mean, she's got a powerful group back there in the public access channel. So Ingrid, tell us, how did you come up with this concept of Ingrid's World, and why do you think it's important?
So that's a great question. So my concept and reason for doing this, I guess it starts at childhood. I was always writing plays. I was always recruiting people to be in my show. And I was doing that from the backyard. Yes, in Queens, New York, which was hilarious. But then the real touching part was working for the Office of Public-Private Partnership. And I met people such as yourself that were doing good, and trying to help medical care for children's partnership, and making sure that children who did not have insurance and families that did not have insurance, they were receiving medical care. And then the various programs, and they came up as a business community and said, hey, we'll do this. But my problem is that here I saw these wonderful African Americans stepping forward and bringing all their resources. And then I turn on the television, and then I don't see this. I don't see these beautiful people on television. So I had promised myself that I would step out. I would step out and do good, because if I want to see the change, I must bring the change. And so I decided that what I would do is highlight those that are doing wonderful things in our community, from Olympians to generals to physicians, children who are just shining beautifully. And I wanted to do this because of the lack of what we saw on television. It's one thing to have a few things like that, but when you don't have those role models on there, I mean, we're inspiring our children, and yes, people still watch television. So that's what inspired me, Maureen. If that, and I have to say, you coach, because you certainly have been coaching me since we connected yesterday, and I would have to say that was my inspiration, to make the story as long.
That is fantastic. And I want to let everybody know, listen, don't keep Ingrid a secret. Make sure you plug into the show. All the links and everything you need to see the show, to access past episodes are right here in front of us and the platform in front of us. And if you want to sponsor the show, if you want to be a supporter, a real supporter, go ahead and hit that link right there, that bit.ly link that says sponsor Ingrid's World. You hit that link right there, and I'm going to post it again in the chat for those of you who might not be able to get to it from the screen. And I will post it on several times throughout the show, whether you're watching this on LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube. You can be able to hit that link at any time and be one of Ingrid's sponsors, because this is a show like any other public access show. It demands that we participate and engage and contribute. And I thank you for the opportunity to do exactly that, because the show is wonderful. What you're doing is wonderful. And I'm so thankful that, you're even here to do it, because like you said earlier, issues of representation are huge. And giving people the opportunity, especially those there's so many people, small women-owned, minority-owned businesses that have their own businesses, but they lack that exposure. And I was going through the deck of, what you get if you decide that you want to sponsor the show, and realize that, man, you get, the show's aired like 20 times a month. And you're going to be mentioned throughout the show several times. I mean, you can't get that kind of exposure. You can't pay for Super Bowl exposure like that. And what I love most about it is recorded. And so, once it's out there, you can replay as much as you want, which is really cool. I tell all my listeners the same thing, just because I put a show up and the show is sort of in the deck, I'll always be responsive. So all you got to do is continue to put stuff in the chat. If you see an old show, if you watch a show from, last year, this time, I'm still going to, monitor that chat, because once it's up there, and I'm going to get an update that goes, hey, somebody's trying to communicate with you, or somebody posted, an amen, or I like what you thought about that in the show. And that's a great opportunity for you to get a shout out about your business and whatever it is you bring to the table. We're very business friendly, by the way. Just want to let everybody know, Coffee Tea You and Me is a program is super business friendly. So if you have something that you want to share, something that you want to let people know about, post that information in the chat. Nobody's going to be mad at you for doing that. In fact, I might even give you a shout out on the show and say, hey, my friend so-and-so is here. I had to rebroadcast this. So a lot of times what's going to happen is people who are going to watch this are going to be watching this later, but don't feel like you can't engage. That's critical. We're going to get right into the topic, and I'm going to put Ingrid backstage for a second and come back after. A quick message. I want to make sure I do my branding stuff. I got to get that out there, because if I don't do that right, then we got a problem. Isn't that cool? I love that. This is Coffee Tea You and Me. For those of you who are tuning in for the first time, make sure you hit us up, get us, make sure you like us, make sure you share us, make sure you make comments, engage totally and completely. We look forward to hearing from you, talking to you, engaging with you. Today's topic is a super special topic for me, because it's really all about a study that I'm embroaching on now. And for those of you who know me, I create training and development all the time. I'm always thinking, how can we help people get better skills at this thing or that thing or whatever? And really, when I started thinking about benefits, it was like maybe 5 years ago, and I started thinking about how does one communicate effectively what one brings to the table? So when you have something to sell, something to share, something to show, how do you communicate that effectively without sounding like you're trying to sell something, or without sounding like you're trying to force people into something, or making them listen to something that's not even interesting? And it dawned on me, I know this is an old salesman trick, but it dawned on me that if you can't share the benefits of what you offer, then there's no way for you to even generate interest in people listening to you talking about whatever it is you have to offer. And I'll give you an example. An insurance salesman may talk about all the various different types of insurance programs, but those aren't actually what he offers. What he actually offers is the benefits of having those insurance programs. For instance, when you know you have the best car insurance, auto insurance, you can feel safe when you're on the road, that if something happens, a multi-car pileup happens out on 495, right? And maybe it's by no fault of yours, but something happens and you get accused and you're at fault. Well, in a multi-car pileup around the Washington metropolitan area, that's an expensive proposition that's going to blow your personal ability to pay out of the water. But if you have good umbrella or good liability insurance, you don't have to worry about that, because the caps on that are so high that even if there's multiple millions of dollars of damage that's caused, that's not going to crush you in your world financially, because your insurance company will have made sure that you have the right kind of coverage. Which I always tell people, if you have the right kind, it doesn't matter. Being covered is one thing, but being covered correctly is another thing. A lot of times you think that you have something, but you don't really have it. So if you have a really good insurance professional, that person is going to let you know what all the risks tend to be that you might face in your area, right? The risk of earthquake in the Washington metropolitan area, not that big, not that high. And so maybe you want to, if you purchase earthquake insurance, not pay necessarily a high premium for it, right? But if you're in California and people not even talking to you about this, that if you might have bought some insurance policy online, what if it doesn't cover earthquake? But so you have to be good at sharing the benefits that you offer people, so that people can figure out how they can generate an interest for what it is you're talking about. So that's an important part of benefits, because benefits are how people feel after you do what you do. They're not what you do. They're how people feel after you do what you do. What sensation does it cause to know that you have this special outfit on, or that you are driving the right car or whatever? How do you feel in it when you know that this is your car? This car is right for you. It's got the right everything in it. Everything you like, everything you love is in the car. Because when those emotional benefits come through, guess what? You'll make a decision. You'll make a decision, whether it's rational or irrational, you're going to make a decision. And that's the thing. The thing that keeps us moving forward is our ability to make decisions. The things that keep us from moving forward is our inability to make decisions. But we need to know what the benefit is before we can make a decision. And so I began to study this. How do we communicate benefits? How do we receive benefits? And that's another problem we found out. Most people don't even know how to receive benefits, because some people don't believe they deserve them. And there's some specific characteristics of benefits we're going to get into. But I find that people can't communicate benefits and people don't know how to receive benefits. And that's a problem, right? The other problem is people don't know how to generate even more benefits from just being better at whatever it is that they're doing. They say that a lot of times when, you could be excellent, you could be a superstar at what you do, but if nobody knows you could do it, how do you get the benefits from doing it? If you could be the best at whatever it is, and I guarantee you, there's a perfect example in the world of basketball. For those of you who might be familiar, you might understand that in Harlem, all throughout the 30s, 40s, and 50s, amazing levels of basketball was being played in the African American communities, in the YWCAs, there was leagues, there was tournaments, all kinds of stuff. And the professional basketball leagues, as they were beginning to be developed, were ignoring that particular talent because that talent did not have the right color skin. And so you find that, people that you might have learned about in early basketball history, may have learned about Wilt Chamberlain, may have learned about Louis Alcindor, who later on became the dominant skyhook player that, we all know today as not what, oh my God, I can't remember his name. It's killing me. It'll come. But the point is, they were dominant, great basketball players who redefined the game later on, but they weren't allowed to play earlier when the game was first developed. But that means if you understand what I'm saying, those games are played at a high level all over the country, in cities and urban areas all over the country. And those players didn't get a shot at even playing in the game until a brand new basketball league was created. And then formally it was done. Dr. J, Julius Erving, played for the Philadelphia 76ers before he came back to the Knickerbockers. And that was when the league closed that he used to play in, now it's open. But the point is, there's talent out there. Talent is everywhere. Everybody's got talent. The problem is, can you be seen and can you play in the big game? And you can't play in the big game if people don't know that you have the talent and the ability to play in the big game. And whose fault is that? Well, that's kind of everybody's fault, because the performance is something that, you can do at a high level. Basics, everybody can do the basics. You just follow the rules, do what you're told, get done the strategy, whatever, and everybody can do the basic steps of whatever it is that you're doing. That's strategy, that's technique, that's everything. But now, when you're talking about performance, right, you're talking about bringing some unique ability that may not have been there before. You're talking about bringing something that's grand to the table, something that's special to the table. That's why I'm glad I have Ingrid on the show today, because that's exactly what she does. She doesn't just dial it in. She brings it. She brings her A game. She is very, very important to her, because her image, her brand is very, very important to her, and she wants to make sure that she's bringing the right steps to take. Very careful, very prudent, very, very, very imaginative at the same time. Though that's very, very important, because you can't perform if you can't create. If you can't figure out how to bring your unique spin to the thing, if you can't figure out how to bring your brand to the thing, you'll never reach a high level of performance. Now, so why are we talking about all this? There are so many people out there whose talent, whose genius is being buried by oppressive regimes called a job, where they're told exactly what to do and how to do it. And understand this: if you're told exactly what to do and how to do it for a period of years, you lose that love and feeling for it. You lose that ability to generate, something special. And you have to figure out how to generate that little outside of whatever you're doing. And it happens not just in jobs, it happens in organizations, it happens in places everywhere where there's rules and requirements and standards and procedures. And yes, you have to know the standards and rules and requirements and procedures. I'm not saying that those aren't important. But in order to reach a high level of performance and creativity, you've got to master the rules and discipline yourself to the standards, and then be so good that you see a way to innovate and create on top of that. And that can only come with the kind of practice, the kind of rehearsal, the kind of commitment. And then, quite frankly, you got to be blessed. You got to have something extra special in the tank that, maybe people aren't up to snuff on. You got to get your prayer and your meditation in order. You got to make sure that you're taking care of the other aspects of your life that might drag you down if you're not taking care of it. For those of you who know that I believe in balance, right? Everything you need to do, you need to have as much balance as possible. Now, I understand that perfect balance is impossible. So let's not, but pursuing perfection is always a good thing. It's not wanting to have it and to attain it. That's probably a dream that you should defer. But, in your health, you need to pursue perfection. In your mental agility and performance, you need to pursue perfection. In your spiritual development, you need to pursue perfection. Same thing economically, you need to pursue perfection. I'm not saying you got to have it all, but you need to know that you got to balance it all out, because you don't want to sacrifice your role as a great husband, wife, father, mentor, protege, whatever it is that you're all, to something else, because when it's all said and done, it's those relationships that are going to matter the most to you. It's not going to be how much money you were able to keep or what kind of cars you were able to drive in the end. I remember Dr. Cubby, when I had a chance to play with him when I was younger, reminded us in many different ways that, you have to play whatever game you're playing in life with the end in mind. So if you think about it, we all have a trajectory to our talent. If you were to be the best parent that you could be, the best husband you could be, the best wife you could be, the best whatever it is whatever role you play, best community leader that you could be, the best member of an association or organization that you can be, if you played it to the best of your ability, where could that take you? You got to think about that. You got to have a vision for that, because that's what drives people to pursue excellence, to pursue perfection. And you have to be willing to do that. You have to be willing to give it what you can give it. Now, here's the thing. Don't let anybody know I told you this, right? You can't do it by yourself. It is literally impossible for you to be stronger, more resilient. My good friends in Delta Sigma Theta have a saying or a respect for this word, fortitude, right? You cannot have fortitude by yourself because you can't sustain it. At some point, you're going to need help. You're going to need help from others. You're going to need help from your network. You're going to need help from people that love and respect you. You're going to need help from people who see you. And people can't see you if you're hiding. They can't see you if you're not bringing your A game and showing up and asking for feedback and going, hey, I'm doing blah, blah, blah. What do you think about it? Ask people that you respect for feedback. It doesn't mean you have to do what they say, but in the asking, what you are doing is you are empowering them to become relevant in their own space. When I interviewed thousands of professionals and I asked them the question back in the day when LinkedIn had a Q&A section, it was an amazing program. I got a chance to point this question to thousands of professionals because I really wanted to figure out what this coaching thing was all about before I got into it. And I asked professionals all over the world, what do you love about being a mentor? What does being a mentor bring to you? And a lot of people, they stumbled around and they gave me many kinds of answers, but the general answer for most people was this: I love that my protege, when I speak, listens to me. And that clued me in on something. And this is what I use this to this day. Many of us have what I call attention deficit, meaning we don't get enough attention. We don't get enough attention from our bosses. We don't get enough attention from our spouses. We don't get enough attention from our children. We don't get enough attention. And in a mentor-protege relationship, guess what? It's literally the protege has to give us attention. And sometimes, for the first time, professionals all over the world are getting the kind of attention they wish they could get anywhere else from their protege, because their protege wants something that they already have. They want to know something that the mentor already knows how to do. That's why they're the protege. That's how the relationship was organized. And it's very, very important, because what tends to happen is once the mentor knows that he's being heard, or he or she's being heard or listened to, all of a sudden they feel good about their contribution. They feel good about what they're delivering. And even if they hate the job or hate whatever it is they're doing about it, they love their proteges. Think about it. If you're a leader, how many times do you have one-on-ones with your teammates and your team people and give them the space to just say whatever it is they want to say, express whatever it is they want to express? When they feel heard, what happens, and we know this now because of neuroscience, we know that when a person feels understood, there's a chemical reaction, and it's called oxytocin. Oxytocin is the love drug for the brain. When people listen to you and you feel understood, you feel cared for, you feel connected, and then all of a sudden that person becomes important to you. Anybody ever had a conversation with somebody on the train or playing or whatever, and it's been like one of the best conversations of your life, and you didn't even know each other's names, that happened because the oxytocin was flowing in the conversation. It happened because the serotonin and the dopamine was flowing from your brain. We now know how that happens. And if you understand it, then you can manufacture it. You can make anybody fall in love with you. All you have to do is take an interest, an active, truthful, engaged, authentic interest in who they are and what they represent. And you will find that they will take that interest right back in you. That's how the law of reciprocity works. So when you think about benefits, when you think about the benefits you have to share, when you think about the benefits you need to receive, and when you think about the benefits that are generated by your performance, all of it works better when you can be proactive about it. When you can think about, let me think about what does it do I contribute in every role that I play? What is it that I bring to the table that others should respect me for? Now, when you say respect, I want you to know that I'm not talking about the general overall average respect, because we've been using that word wrong for years. Respect means to hold into high regard or admire something specific about a person. When a person says they respect you, but they can't tell you specifically what they respect about you, that's not really respect. And so your contribution should generate admiration. It should generate high regard. And if it's not, you have the right to inquire what you need to do better to generate that. Think about it. Aren't there places in your life where you've made major contributions, but you haven't gotten the return that you expected to get? And why didn't you not get that return? If you know the person or the group or the organization has the ability to return you what you need to have, but they didn't, then you are rightful in asking the question, listen, I was expecting the kind of love and admiration that looks like this from this effort that I put out, and I didn't get it. Did I miss it? Did I misinterpret something that I did not? That's feedback, right? Asking for the feedback. But now you got to be willing. That's a gutsy, bold move. I get that. We've been told to be humble, not dig too deep, not inquire too much. We all gotten there, right? But the reality is, when people know exactly what you're looking for, exactly how to deliver for you, and because you've told them, you made it so much easier for them to be meaningful and relevant and significant to you, because you've given them what they need in order to do that. That's why I told you guys earlier, I need you to contribute to Ingrid's show because she's putting it down for you, right? I need you to think about that. I need you to love on her in that way, because that's how she knows that what she's doing is meaningful. She shouldn't have to come out of her pocket to serve you. You know, you should be willing to contribute to that effort, because that is, again, how the law of reciprocity works. She's not going to tell you, please, 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 please support my show, because she's too busy swinging for the fences. She's too busy putting it down. She's too busy doing the things she got to do. So I'm going to be that mouthpiece, you know, and let you know that, you know, if for some reason she can't continue this, we all got to pay some responsibility for that. We all got to take some responsibility for that. So it's very, very important. Contribution and reciprocity work together. And that's how we continue to create performance. Now let's talk about the other side of that. Receiving. How do you receive the benefit that you're supposed to receive? And when I say supposed to receive, you know, there are things when you put your effort, energy, your time, talent, and treasure into something, you should expect a return for your time, talent, and treasure. It's a universal truth. It's a universal principle. If you do the right work, if you do the right sowing, then you should reap a good harvest. Everybody knows it. Every religious tradition says the same thing. I don't care whether you're a Buddhist or a Muslim or whatever it is that you do or think about or believe in. Everybody says you deserve a good return for good work. The thing about it is that you need to know how to receive it, because you can't receive it and go, oh, well, you know, I deserved it, and so therefore I'm entitled to it. That's not how it works. You need to be willing to share what you received above and beyond what it is that you need, which means you got to give back. And it's sort of how the system flows back, right? So you find others that need what you have after you've developed all the things you need to have, and you share it. That's one of the lessons I learned from Ingrid and her friends at the Office of Partnerships, because we all have something to share. The question is, do we know how to share it in a way that's going to generate more? That's going to generate more opportunities for others. It's going to create more opportunities for others. And if you're doing that, I promise you, you're living a life. You're living the great life. You're living the good life, the life that's going to continue to give you rewards, the life that you can sustain forever and continue to do it. You'll always generate positive energy, and that energy will flow right back to you. But you got to know how to receive it, because receiving is not just about hoarding it and keeping it for yourself. It's about acknowledging that maybe you have more than you deserve, because you worked, you get what you got, but you got more, right? So now you need to make a return and invest in somebody else, in something else, in the community, in an organization, in something that you believe in, and don't even look for anything else. Just do it. Do what's required. Give it the time, the talent, the treasure that you have. And I promise you, you're going to get a return from that too. And that's going to keep coming and keep flowing. And it's going to be an ever-flowing well of opportunity. It's only when you decide that I don't have anything to contribute, when you start using words like I can't, I won't, I don't know how, you really do have to do your soul searching and come up with what you can, what you will, what you know, and then you need to start to build from there on delivering more and more and more and more. So I belong to a group called the Round Table. And I co-founded the organization with my buddy Darren Marcourt. And he and I couldn't be further from different, as you can imagine. And that's how we went, because there's organizations and communities that he could speak to that resonate with him and them, and organizations and communities that I could speak to. And together in partnership, we can grow amazing things. We have an organization right now, and we teach the skill of networking, the art and the science of networking. And we understand the three laws of benefits that I just shared with you, right? Contribution, receiving, and then performance all work together. So we teach our members how to listen to each other. Literally listen in ways they never listened before. We teach them how to present their ideas and concepts in ways that people are going to get what they actually bring to the table and know how to call meaning and significance out of them. Because when you hear somebody has something to add, you can figure out, oh, okay, I know how to use that. Or if I don't know how to use it, maybe I know somebody else who knows how to use that. And you can make that introduction. You can make an introduction and tell somebody, like, if Ingrid says to me, I need some guests for the show, because I've seen the show, because I know what she's about, I know how to bring the person to the show that she wants to have on the show. And when I communicate to them, I'm going to go, let me just tell you something. Ingrid is no joke. She don't want no slouches on her show. She's going to want somebody who is really, really making a major contribution, or has made major contributions to our community and society, because she wants to spotlight you, she wants to highlight you, and she will not be embarrassed by you. And so if I say to you that she's the person that you should get on, you should be on her show, and I go back to her and I sell that to her, you're not going to embarrass me either. By making me look bad, by making the recommendation, because I'm taking the risk and a trust that I have leverage with her in order to help her find something that's going to be good for her, right? So it's very, very important. You got to make sure that, again, the benefits that you offer are clear, and you can articulate them in a way that people can say, okay, oh, I see what you're doing. I see what you're all about. I can add to that. And then when they want to add to it, you have to figure out a way to make that work. Instead of going, oh, no, I'm not ready yet, I don't have time for this, up. You can't do that. When a person hears your vision and they respond, you got to be ready to receive what they want to give you. because they're going to want to get, because again, we're all looking for meaning, relevance, and significance. Every single human being at every age is looking for meaning, relevance, and significance. And sometimes something happens and you know you can make a contribution, you know you can do something meaningful right then and right there. And if you don't do it, the person that knows you didn't do it is you. And that's going to play against your integrity. Integrity is your self-trust, is your ability to trust yourself, is to know that you're going to do the thing that you say you're going to do. Because how do you become trustworthy if you don't even trust yourself? How do you ask someone else to trust you if you haven't built up that reservoir of self-trust? So I shared a lot. I hope you guys got a lot out of it, and I see my girls back there, and I'm glad because I was ready to bring you in anyway.
Well, you know what? I was taking notes, so I was like, "Oh my goodness!" So you're really touching on a lot of very important things that I think for me, you were giving guiding principles about how we make our decisions, and I would say that what I have used. Kind of like taking what you've said is that I cannot be all things to all people. So that's my first cut at this. So I am a wife, I am a mother, and hello, I'm a grandma. So those are the key things. So you say, okay, at the end of the day, that's what I care about. But then let's look back at the organizations. Right. Organizations, I get invited, I've been blessed. I get invited to lots of organizations. Would you become a member? And I have to ask myself these things. You don't want to do it because it's like the it thing to do. I need to be in this organization. You must ask yourself one thing. Do you support their mission? And can you say, are you willing to do the work? You can't. I'm not willing to be a member in name only.
Oh, good for you. Me too. I feel the same way. I agree with that one. I'm like, what are we doing? We're not doing nothing. I'm out.
Life is too short,
right? And
I would say that that is the real thing for that standpoint. Can you sign on with it? And I would say, both of us are Rotarians, and you founded your club. I was not the founder for Tyson's. I think they started somewhere in the 80s. But as a Rotarian, that this is what we do. It's service above self. And we're not looking for like that benefit. And so that's why I wanted to become a Rotarian. I got invited to another organization, and I looked at it through a lens of an organization I already am a member. And I said, you know what? I just don't think it's good to duplicate efforts. I can do one thing really well and sign on with these folks. But just, and I declined. And in fact, that was a recent occurrence for me. Recently, also, organization about a year ago that I did decide to become a board member was Catholic Charities. And I would say the reason why I wanted to do that was not just being Catholic, but because I believed in the mission and the mission to help all people. So yes, it's wonderful having a television show. I wouldn't trade it for anything. But I think what you also said, you said make sure that you do benefits. What is it benefiting? I benefit a lot. Yes, I am paying for the show myself. But I must be also very transparent. I benefit a lot from it.
Absolutely. I get that completely.
I benefit. I get to talk to these fabulous people. I'm talking to the Museum of Science in Boston. I'm talking, now I'm working on a show about, those who homestead in Indiana. And then I get to talk to physicians and what they are doing in terms of cancer treatment. And so I benefit because if you sign on as being a continuous learner, we're always learning things. The show gives me that. And then I would have to say the other reason why we join an organization, and that's what I said to you. today. I said, Marvin, how do your show? It sounds like fun. And you, what did you tell me, Marvin?
If I'm not having fun, I'm not doing it. If I'm not having fun, I'm not doing it.
I said, sign me up.
I got, see this gray hair? See this gray hair all over the place? I don't, I'm not wasting not one of them. You know, 'cause I earned every single one of them. And at this point in my life, it's all about the joy. And if I can't find the joy in it, it's not gonna be there for me, because that's the benefit to me, is to do the thing that's meaningful, significant, relevant, the thing that brings me joy, and because I know I'm making a contribution.
Right.
You know, and I'm not guessing about that anymore. When I was young, you know, like, oh, I'm not sure I'm doing the right thing. Is this the smart move? Is this da da da? But now that I've seasoned a little bit, and I've gotten some stripes underneath my belt, you know, I'm like, you know what? This is the way to go. This is the thing that you should be doing. This is the thing that, you know, we should be about. Is and like you said earlier, you know, the benefits come in ways that no one, you don't expect it.
Exactly.
You don't expect it. You know, when I was the chairman of the Centerville Community Foundation, and we were raising more money than the foundation had ever raised before,
Yes.
In the history of the foundation.
Yes.
And, you know, people started nominating me for things.
Yes.
And one nomination of an award or recognition led to another nomination or award or recognition, which led to another thing. And I could have easily let all that stuff go into my head, you know, Lord Fairfax, you know.
I know, I remember.
I'm like, time out,
Amazing.
you know. I was brand new to this area. I didn't grow up here, you know, and I had been here less than 5 years before I was already nominated for one of the highest community service awards that they give. I've been sitting on so many boards and so many things, but I've been making a contribution, and people were recognizing it and seeing it. I could have said, no, this is not for me. I'm not doing it for the accolades. I'm not doing it for the whatever. But then I also realized at the same time, if I did that, because I'm an introvert and this is not something that I love,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I don't love the attention.
Oh my goodness.
You know, I like the attention from the right people, but I don't like the attention from everybody, right? And so I had to ask myself, okay, Marvin, if you don't accept these things, who doesn't get a chance to see that somebody like you can do it? And so I had to ask myself, I had to eat some humble pie, because I'm like, okay, yes, I'm not the greatest public speaker. I'm not the best at showing gratitude. And I realized that. So I'm like, you know, I have to practice this, because I want people to know that, you know, even though I'm an introvert, I'm still grateful.
Yes.
I'm still thankful that I get up every day and do the things that I get to do, and make the contributions that I get to make, whether I'm paid for it or not. Yes. I am paid for it in more ways than I can imagine.
Yes.
And so I try to help share that wisdom with people. You know, your contribution is not necessarily, your return on investment is not necessarily material or financial.
It really is the truth, because you know, what you get spiritually really counts. I mean, when I do an interview and I am so charged up afterwards, of like I'm flying high, and it's because you hear people, and then you hear and you learn, because you learn. You think you have obstacles, you sit down and you talk to someone. You know, I had someone who, you know, was in another country. They had, you know, no books, but look where they are now. You know, you listen to these people and you're saying, okay, I can do this. How inspiring you are. And I love what you say about pivoting, because you said that, yes, we had COVID and you decided to learn as much as you can and during this time. And that is basically, it definitely has been my mantra, because I said, you know what? Yeah, it's COVID, but I'm going to do this show. We pivoted, and now the show is still on air since 2013. and we're still able to do that.
Right.
So I think that it's always to reinvest. And for those who are having those who have those jobs, I worked for Fairfax County, and I enjoyed working for them. But as you had said, we have regulations, you have things that you must follow. I mean, it's an award-winning, organization. But let me tell you what you have to do. You dig in deep, you learn, and use that process to translate in your private business. You keep those other little things going on. And this is how I looked at it. I had the opportunity of learning for the best. I met you, Marvin, and I saw how you operated. And I was like, oh my gosh, we can do this. And so, no, you're not, doing your own thing. But what you are doing, you're seeing those examples of how people are able to march at their own. And I don't know, that to me is just amazing. So, I can just
posted something in the chat. And make sure I put it right where it's supposed to go. Because this reminds me of a story, and it's just so funny that you and I were talking about this in the same way. There's a gentleman who I bumped into because we were my fraternity is trying to support small businesses, and it's one of the things we want to do. And I'm the chairman of the Small Business Initiative within the organization. So it's called the Bigger and Better Business Program. And so we try to find and identify, small businesses that need to be recognized by the community and people who that need the opportunities to stand out. And it just so happened this group called Kitchen Cray bumped into the organization. We bumped into this organization called Kitchen Cray. And Kitchen Cray happens to be founded by a gentleman from DC who was formerly homeless.
What?
Right. And he's a chef. He's a master chef now. And he got himself onto, you ever know that show Hell's Kitchen?
Yeah.
Got himself on the show Hell's Kitchen. He got kicked out, really early in the show. But that doesn't matter because he got himself on the show. And it launched his first restaurant in DC. And then he launched another restaurant in Maryland. And now he launched one here in Northern Virginia. And so the brothers decided, we're going to get together. We're going to have a function at his restaurant on the 19th of March. So we're having a function out there, literally to celebrate and honor other businesses.
Wow.
But we're inviting everybody to come and play at Kitchen Cray with us. Now it's a New Orleans style chic,
I love it.
Yeah, so I was like, oh my God, I was over there.
I love it.
I had what did I have? I had the chicken, the what is it? What's the Creole chicken that they make down in the islands? Jerk chicken. It was a jerk chicken. It was a jerk chicken Caesar salad. Oh, it was so good. And they have so many things that, just special little, soul food and New Orleans style cuisine. It's kind of upscale. So it's not like, it's not like really fatty or oily or anything like that, but it's really, really good. And, so we're going to go out there, we're going to play. And I invite anybody who wants to come. If you're in Northern Virginia, you want to come and hang out, make sure you register with that link that I just shared with you, because, we're going to got lots of games, lots of prizes. And if you're an entrepreneur, you're a business and you want to, jump on board with, any of the promotions, let me know and we'll figure out how to make that happen. But the story that you reminded me of is like, you never know who you're going to bump into, never know what their story is.
You never know. And please, I can say, if anything, always be on your A game.
Right.
Be on your I'll give you an example. I work out every day generally. Okay. So this morning I'm at the gym at 6. Okay. So yeah, I'm a little crazy. I get that. So
I got an army background. So you woke up late as far as I'm concerned. That's it. That's all I'm up at 4:30. What are you talking about?
There you go. So I'm walking in the gym and someone calls me, hey, Ingrid, how do you like how the gym is? So you know me, I got the business cards in the hip pocket. And I said, hey, Larry, how you doing? It's good. I thought I'd come in and work out before I get ready for the show. It's always going back to the show. He said, I didn't know you owned the show. I said, oh my gosh. Bam.
Right.
And he says, oh my goodness, I didn't realize that you're on television. I said, I'm right on television right here in Virginia. You should click on and watch me. So he says, oh my goodness. I said, go to the website. And when we started talking, he then told me that he used to work for Larry King. And then he said, "Oh my gosh, I didn't realize that we were so similar." And so then we started thinking about, you know, how we could work together. Now, this was just based on a hello. It
That's
was
right.
based on a hello. It was a base that when I walk through the door, I'm said, I'm going to be friendly. I'm going to, you know, someone starts me talking, I'm going to be engaged with them. Yes, I have a mask on. Yes, I'm social distancing, but still, we can do it.
That's
And I
right.
walked away with a new friend and a new, you know, potential, maybe a guest that's going to come out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that is what I think a lot of people need to learn is that if you show up in you, whatever it is you bring to the table, show up,
Show up.
you know, be the person that you're supposed to be, and you will start to receive the benefits that, you know, are there for you that are more than you can imagine.
Right, right. And be
You know?
open to the possibilities because, you know, a lot of times we want to like us, well, I'll be their partner if they can do X, Y, and Z. Yeah.
Right, 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 right. You got, I'm all about having your criteria. I get that. I get that. I don't mind people who say I'll do it if, and I don't mind the quid pro quo. I don't mind people say I'll go this if you do this for me, because you know that again lets me know what they need. You know, because I think that sometimes when we're open to what other people need, then they're open to what we need.
Um, absolutely.
Again, that's that law of reciprocity again. And so sometimes people are sometimes they're scared to tell you what they need because they're like, oh, I don't want to come off as pushy, or I don't want to talk about me. It's not about me, it's about you. I'm like, okay, that's great. I get that it's about me. And if you know everything that there is to know about me now. You know what I need, you know what I want, you know where I'm going. Great. But how can I help you?
How can I help you?
You know, and
You
if
know,
if I can't help you, and you're just going to tell me that you're going to benefit me, but I'm not going to offer any benefit back to you. There's not going to be any contribution back to you somehow, some way. That's not good enough for me. I can't live like that.
yeah, and I love what you're saying because now you sent a link for Kitchen Crate. So you know what I said? Hey, that sounds like a guest on my show that I'm going to record in June. Yes, I got my stuff there. I made note.
Right. So, and if you come to the event, what am I going to do? I'm going to introduce you to everybody who is anybody who's coming to the event. And I'm going to say, oh my God, if you haven't seen the show, you got to see the show. This is Ingrid. This is her show. And by fact, and here's a link to the show we just did. You know,
I'm like, oh yeah,
why would I keep it a secret?
Yeah, and I think again is like being open to possibilities. You said another thing that was very important about being grounded, and I would tell you, yes, I go to the gym, and I would have to say that thanks to I know we do religion, but I am going to touch on what Apple Street Baptist Church started a fasting and it's a 15-minute prayer call and it's for all faiths and you just listen to the wonderful pastor there and
Howard John Wesley.
awesome awesome. That's all I had to say. Awesome. And it just it centers you. It gives you kind of, let's say, you're thirsty for that drink, but you get that drink and it's what you need for me in the morning to kind of like pull me through and inspire me to do good. Inspire that. Yeah.
It's an amazing process.
So you know exactly who I was talking about. Get out of here.
Let me tell you something. This is a story that we're going to get off the line and answer any questions that anybody might have
okay.
About 3 years ago, before COVID, a year before COVID, I had a neighbor who's been inviting me to Alfred Street. And I'm like, I'm not coming to Alfred Street. It's too big. it's it's a corporate style, church. It's huge, and I don't really need that. I'm a good old Southern boy. I like the church up on center blocks back in the woods somewhere. That with 20 members and a tambourine. That's what I want. That's kind of the faith experience, the faith tradition I come from, and so that's what I need. To sort of feed my spirit. So I thought. But he said, just come on Alfred Street. You come on Saturday night. Come as you want to. You don't have to get dressed up or anything like that. And you're coming out because I go on Saturday night, and it's not packed and it's easier to get in there. So it's like, okay, fine, we'll do a Saturday night thing. And I took my daughter. And my daughter decided that at that moment that she wanted to join the church.
What?
On a Saturday night. My wife and I sitting there going,
what?
Hallelujah, praise God. Okay. And then so I had no idea that I would ever transfer my church membership to someplace else other than where I was before. All right, and I'm not going to name anybody. Right. I was like, all right, because I'm here. This is my church. This is my thing. But I seen my daughter do that, and then I was like, oh, I looked up in the choir box and I saw all kinds of friends that I had met and all kinds of associates that I had met through all the work that I've been doing in the community. I was like, something is calling me to Alfred Street. Let me check this out. And this was a night that the pastor was not presenting. It was a guest pastor. So it was a female pastor, and she was amazing. She was amazing. And so my daughter was like, this is it for me. That's where I'm coming. And so my wife and I followed her. It was like, okay, fine. You join the church, and if you're serious about this, then we'll be right behind you. And I fully thought that she would be like, nah, I'm not going to do it. Blah blah blah. Like, she's like, all right, I'm leading the family now. Boom, and that's where we all transferred. And so as a result of that, my daughter was baptized at Alfred Street.
What?
No way. Yeah. And we've been members for the last 3 years, and it's been, and over the pandemic, people thought, churches are having a hard time. Alfred Street is growing.
It's growing. That's what I have noticed. I have noticed that. As you had imagined, I said I'm Catholic, but I got 2 rows.
You got to get that Baptist in. I know you got to do it. I remember in DC, Pastor Stallings was here in DC. Remember him? The Catholic priest in downtown. I was like, yeah, okay. He said, you know what? There's room for everybody in the Catholic Church.
That's right.
Come on in, people. And I wasn't mad at him for helping shake up that tradition a little bit. That's a good thing.
Well, I think that we have to work at trying to fill our cup and fill it with goodness.
Right.
Fill it with love, understanding. Right. And that's why, I just have kudos to you, Marvin, for bringing us together, bringing the community together. And actually, this is a celebration. Mm-hmm. It's a celebration of what happens when we join forces. Absolutely. And a positive energy and what we create.
Absolutely. So I'm so thankful you came on the show today. Sorry for the technical difficulties we had earlier, but we recovered. And a lot of people are going to watch the show. A lot of people are gonna dial in. So I'm hoping as you see the show, we're going to broadcast it over next couple of weeks, because it is Women's History Month. We might as well celebrate one of the fabulous women that I know. And so it's a great thing. And I'm looking forward to being on your show. We're gonna have a lot of fun.
Yeah, I am very excited. I can't thank you enough for accepting the invitation. You will inspire me. You will be inspiring so many throughout the country from being on the show. So I thank you for taking the time, because you're a busy man.
I am busy, but I stay busy good. And like my fraternity brother John Lewis says, I try to get myself in good trouble. It's all about the good trouble. So I stay in trouble all the time, but it's good trouble. All righty, so I'm gonna put you backstage for a minute. Don't go anywhere. I'm gonna close out the show. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the show today. I hope you got a lot out of it. Benefits are incredibly important things to learn how to share, how to talk about, how to communicate effectively, how to receive, and finally how to use them to improve your performance, to bring the greatness that you deserve and more in your life. But you got to do it. You got to put the effort, the energy into it. You got to make the commitment first to yourself, and the truth that you are able to establish and understand, and then you got to be able to share that with other people. And the more you do that as a leader, as a member, as a, whatever role you play, everywhere you play, you are going to be wealthy and you're going to be enriched in more ways than you know. I promise you that. God bless you all. I hope you come back and have a great show. Don't forget, subscribe, share, like us everywhere there is to subscribe, share, and like us. And we're going to keep this party going. Next week, we're going to start a brand new series. I'm going to keep it a secret. I'm not going to let you know what it is. We're going to start a brand new series next week, and it's going to be fantastic. I look forward to that. If you can join us at Kitchen Cray, let's have a good time. We're going to have a party. We're going to have a party at Kitchen Cray on the 19th of March. And you get a chance to, there's a special announcement that the brothers are going to make there too. So if you want to come, you're really going to have a good time. All right, I'm going to end the broadcast. And it's just, guess what? I get to hang out with Ingrid without you people now. Bye.